Hi vinyl community, it's Michael again, back again. This time I'm going to show you my favorite Psych albums. Well, some of my favorite, not all. But anyway, let's get into it. First up, this is Grateful Dead, Anthem of the Sun. This is so good. Really good Grateful Dead album. This is their second album from 1968. And it's on, it's a later pressing from the 80s. It's on the beige Warner Brothers label, but nice and clean, really good, sounds great. This album, it was like partially live. What they did is they took some of their best performances of these songs from some of their concerts, and I guess they re-edited them or something in the studio, added some overdubs to it, but it turned out great. It's one of their best albums, and it's a fantastic Psych album. Up next, in the late 60s, there was the San Francisco sound that everybody knew about, and in Boston, they were trying to get the same thing going, like a national scene going, and it was known as the Bosstown sound. And some of the bands this is one of the bands that came out of there. This is the Beacon Street Union, the Eyes of the Beacon Street Union. This is pretty good. Great guitar work. I don't know a whole lot about this band. I know they got a few other albums out. In fact, I have their second album is called The Clown Died in Marvin Gardens, and I had ordered that, and it's on its way. I haven't got it yet. But this is really good Psych. Now this one, this is The Litter, Emerge. This is probably a mid-2000s pressing, maybe 2010. This is great. This is really hard Psych. I don't know what else to compare it to, but it's fantastic. Fantastic listen. I like all their albums. I have a couple of their other ones. They're all really good and really psychedelic. So, a great addition to any Psych collection. And this is one of my favorites of all time. This is Country Joe and the Fish, Electric Music for the Mind and Body. This is their first album from 1967. So good from start to finish. Flying High, Not So Sweet, Martha Lorraine. Happiness is a Porpoise Mouth. Song Grace is about Grace Slick. This really, really good. It's one of the best Psych albums to come out of the 60s. And if you don't know about it, you should check it out. Really, really good. And next, we have here, this is Chocolate Watch Band, The Inner Mystique. Look at that great psychedelic cover there. It's fantastic. This is a strange one though. And this is a list of people who the band dedicated the record to. There's all kinds of names, actors, people I've never heard of, famous poets, TV stars, movie stars, all kinds of stuff. But interesting album. It's kind of strange though, because the first side is not actually the Chocolate Watch Band. It's a bunch of musicians, studio musicians. But man, is it good. And the second side is more, it is the Chocolate Watch Band and more the garage type sound. But man, this is so good. another great addition to any Psych collection. And up next, this is the Bee Gees' first album. Now, I really like the early Bee Gees, the Bee Gees from the 60s. Once they adapted into the disco sound, I didn't care too much for them. But this album is really good. It's more like a Baroque pop, and it's got every Christian lion-hearted man will show you that it's so good. And it's kind of based on a Gregorian chant, and it's just really good. And to love somebody, I can't see nobody. My eyes can only look at you. Really, really good album. Everybody should know this. A lot of people probably have it. Great Psych album. This is one of my favorite Psych bands. This is West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band, Volume 3, A Child's Guide to Good and Evil. This is a reissue from early 2000s, I think. It's so good. Really good. And it's on a reproduction of the Tricolor Reprise label. Nice and mini clean. So good. But this is, I would say this is their best album. It's just from start to finish, every song is just so good. But I like all their albums, at least the 3 that they released on Reprise in the late 60s. But just a great album. I'm sure everybody knows about this one. And up next, we got Steve Miller Band. I love this cover. So psychedelic. Really good. This is Steve Miller's first album, the Steve Miller Band's first album. Came out in 1967. Just a great album. I mean, Children of the Future, You Got the Power, Junior Saw It Happen, everything from start to finish is so good, and it's well worth having if you're into Psych. Early 60s, or I'm sorry, late 60s Psych. Just great album. Now this is July. It's the British Psych band from the 1960s. This came out in 1968. Originally, this is a music on vinyl reissue that I picked up a few months ago. But this is also really good. Great British Psych, kind of whimsical at times, and kind of hard to just say who I could compare them to, but it's just a great listen. If you really like Psych, just check this out because it's a good album. Now this one, a couple years ago, I was watching Bill, Michigan Record Club, and he was showing some Psych albums, and he showed this. I knew who the Conqueror was. They were a Texan band from the late 60s. They played a lot of gigs with 13th Floor Elevators. But their music is more closely related to the San Francisco sound than what was, like the Elevators and the Golden Dawn. from Texas, but they play a lot of shows with the Elevators. This is so good. And a funny story about this is I saw Bill show this. I didn't even know this album existed. And I saw him show this, so I looked it up on Discogs, and it was like the only copies available were overseas, and they were like $60, $70, and I was like, I'm gonna have to wait on that one. So a couple days later, I go to one of my favorite record stores in Cleveland, and I'm flipping through the racks, and what do I see? This. And it was just so weird that I never knew this album existed until I saw Bill show it, and then 2 days later I find it in a store. You know, it just blew me away. But this is a great album to have if you're into the Psych. And like I said, it's closer to San Francisco sound. Lots of really good psychedelic lead guitar. But it's just great. It's such a good album. Conqueror, titled From the Vulcan Gas Company. So this wasn't released during the lifetime of the band. This was released sometime in the 80s. I think about 1987. So, but it was recorded in 1967 at the Vulcan Gas Company. But what a great album. I'm so glad Bill showed this. I would have never known about it. So thank you, Bill. And this one, this is a weird band I kind of discovered, a German band called Mythos. I love that cover. So psyche there. This is and the inside, really good. This is I don't even know how to describe this. It's kind of mellow in parts, and then it gets real intense, and then it you know, goes back down to being mellow again. It's just like a roller coaster ride, you know, but it's really good once you get into it. This is Mythos. I think this is their first album, but great album, great Psych album. This is from, I'm not even sure, I think it came out in, it was re-released in 2008, but I think it came out sometime in the 70s, or maybe the late 70s. But there's the label, Mythos, nice clean vinyl. But here's a cool discovery. I found it one day in a used record store for about $20, so it was worth it. Okay. Oh, by the way, what we're listening to in the background, this is 13th Floor Elevators, the best of Manicure Your Mind. It's got a lot of outtakes from their studio recordings, but it sounds pretty good. Just a rare version edition of 13th Floor Elevators' greatest hits. So you can check this one out. I don't know if this is even available on vinyl, but I found this. I paid like $5 for it, you know, and it's worth having. So anyway, back to the vinyl. This one is Sam Gopal, and featuring Lenny from Hawkwind and Motorhead. This is really good. Sam Gopal was a tabla player, and I guess he was from, I'm not really sure where, but he emigrated over to the United States and in California, attended college, and he got this band going. Originally, the band was called Sam Gopal's Dream, but they just shortened it to Sam Gopal. But this is great. Lenny sings a lot on here. He was in here. He's credited as Ian Willis. He played vocal, lead, and rhythm guitar. But it's really, really good. You know, if you're into psych and you want something new or new to you, you know, you can check this one out. This. Sam Gopal Escalator. And this one, another one of my favorite Psych albums. This is Small Faces, Ogden's Nutcon Flake. This is a mono version, a reissue from the early 90s, I think. But this sounds great. If you have the insert came with it. I don't know if you've ever seen an original. I have one of those, a British copy original. But this sounds great in mono. The white immediate label. This is actually through Charlie Records. But it's so good. The mono version has, it's like slightly different sounding, of course, than the stereo version, but it's great. Great album. Great Psych album to have. I'm sure everybody knows about this. But I had the stereo for years and I wanted a good mono copy of this. Great album altogether. Now this one, this is a more recent, well, if you call, from 2004. This is a band called Liquid Visions, and it's from the Cube. This is modern day psych. It's done really good. The guitar work on this is just fantastic. The song list. But I discovered this band. I was just flipping through records in the record store and I saw this and I said, never heard it before, and I thought this has gotta be good. And I mean, look at that cover, you know, kind of modern type psych, but done so well. And speaking of modern psych, this one, Lionel Richie showed this, which kind of influenced me to buy this. This is Simone's Corridor of Dreams. This is self-release. I don't know. I'm not even sure what year this came out, but guess I should have done some research, huh? Oh well. This says it's on Peyote Records. Peyote Records, and it says it's from North Lima, Ohio, which I didn't know. But yeah, this is fantastic. I mean, great psychedelic guitar. I haven't listened to this in a while, but it's a great album. Great modern psychedelia. It's so good, and thank you, Lionel Richie, for showing this. It's really well worth having if you're into psych. Simone's Corridor of Dreams. This one is another one of my favorites. This is The Thoughts of Nice and Devis, their first album. This is really their most psychedelic album. Keith Emerson kind of, by their second album, it was more dominated by him doing his classical rock stuff. But this one, there's more, keyboards and stuff's on there too, but there's more guitar work from Davey List, who I think left the band right after this album. But this is just a great Psych album. Flower King of Flies, the opener, just blows me away every time I hear it. Get this in there. There we go. Yeah, this is well worth having if you're into Psych. This one, almost done here, folks. This one is the Devis Frond, Marshland. This is from 1987. I'm not sure how early this is in his catalog, if it's his first or what, but it's a great album with lots of good Psych guitar. Nick Solomon is just fantastic. All his stuff is worth having. It's just so good. Devis Frond has 14, 15 albums out, maybe more than that, and they're all worth having. Okay, two more. This one, classic, Quicksilver Messenger Service, their first album. This is so good. Just great psych rock all the way through. Pride of Man, Hamilton Camp, Light Your Windows. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. It's a great album from start to finish. Really glad to find this. I found this at a flea market for $10. And it's in VG shape, but it plays really good. Plays like a VG Plus, but another really good album worth having in your Psych collection. The last one, this is a classic. This is Pink Floyd, their second album, Saucer Full of Secrets. This is a Canadian pressing, and it's on Rainbow Capital label. This is a later pressing reissue from 1980, I think, but just great. This is a classic album. Anybody who's into Psych and Pink Floyd, they know this album, and it's well worth having. I got several copies of this myself. I got this one. I got a German import from the 70s, and I have the Record Store Day Mono reissue from 3 years ago or so. But yeah, Pink Floyd, you can't have enough Pink Floyd if you're into Psych. So that's it for now. I want to thank everybody that's commented and subscribed. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe, and feel free to leave comments and let me know what you think about these albums. So I'll see you all later, and thanks for tuning in.